Welcome, acolytes. Today I am reacting to the video from You Never See Me This Mad from Moist Critical or penguinz0. Now why am I doing it? It's particularly simple, I guess. It's because the situation with Moist Critical is a very, very interesting one. And it's just with the immigration policy of freaking America, and I personally assume that his team will get at one point some problem just because of the freaking name. And why? Because the people that actually decide those things are extremely petty, or most of them are extremely petty, very, very unstable people that actually, well, shouldn't be on their positions, but they still are for some reason. And yes, they would be like, hey, this is a freaking gaming thing, and the team is called Moist Critical. No, because they are called Moist, I don't give a F. They won't get they won't get the freaking permit. So that's what I think happened here. But yeah, let's just see what Charlie has to say about it, and let's just the poor guy. Honestly, the poor guy. This is like dealing with state matters like that. That's just annoying as F. And just dealing with specifically Stephanie is like you can't do shit against, just like filling any papers out or something like that. And even if they just totally F you up, you can't even legally chase them. That's so bullshit. But okay, let's see.
The gym because I needed to blow off some steam. Fair warning, I'm about to start screaming and spitting. This is probably the most emotion you will ever see from me. I'm about to get animated like a Pixar character, red in the face with steam coming out of my ears, because I am infuriated. I am livid. I've made a couple videos bringing you up to speed on a situation I've been dealing with US immigration. In a nutshell, our esports team, Moist Esports, has one of the best Apex rosters in the world right now. We're second place in NA, and we're in a really good position to win them.
Yeah, it was Apex. Yeah. They had, like, they are. I actually don't watch the Apex or something like that, or I didn't. I did for a while. I played it with my brother, but at the end, those guys are actually like top notch. Honestly, But okay.
The major is happening on US soil, and the red-blooded patriots at US immigration refuse to let our team come in. Our team is Australian, so we were initially declined and had to pay.
Well, I mean, they are Australian, you know, like, the people where bunnies can kill you, somewhat understandable. No, of course, I'm joking, of course. It's really not that bad, but, yeah, I mean, it's, as I said at the start, it's bollocks.
Get them to Canada so they could compete in NA this split, and we resubmitted, and our resubmission has just been declined again, for legitimately no real reason, because the fucking glue-eating, crack-smoking, coke-snorting, lobotomite morons at US immigration just don't want them in the country for whatever reason they're drumming up here. We have been working with the best lawyers in the industry, the best lawyers on this fucking planet that specialize in this field, and none of them can believe that we've been declined again.
And I'm gonna say it, it's bullshit. It's real bullshit. But as I said, those are just things you have to deal with people that have absolutely no idea what they are actually doing in their effing jobs, so yeah.
They've never had these issues before, so they're as stunned as we are. We even have one of the highest level executives at EA going to bat for us with US immigration, lobbying for us to try and get our team in here because our team is very important to the esport because we are so highly ranked. And even with the goddamn Avengers on our side, US immigration slams the door in our face and turns us away like it's a lacrosse house party in college. They're Australian gamers. We're not trying to sneak in fucking Viltrumite aliens. What is the issue? Gadzooks, I would hate to meet our US immigration agent in real life. It'd be like meeting Voldemort. It'd be like meeting Scrooge. Like an absolute joyless fucking husk of like a zombie. It can't even be a real soul. I
tried to resist, but it's so true. It's so true. I know a few people, and The people that just work in those positions are so effing miserable. And the thing is, they're trying to... Oh, sorry. They're trying to actually spread their misery like it's nothing else. One of those... It's a lady, by the way, that I have to deal with to this day, is basically someone that's a pure-blooded effing Karen. It's a freaking Karen through and through. It's not even a joke. It's so effed up. And this and this piece of just human garbage, this freaking life-deprived, fat elephant human being is actually responsible for my freaking stuff. This is such bullshit. And the thing is, she made so many mistakes, in contrast like to me, that after freaking 10 years, I still cannot, for the life of me, get her to actually be fired. And she did so many things incorrectly that I'm asking myself, how the F is this girl still working? If I, as a butcher, would make even half as many mistakes as her, it would be done. I would be fired. But these guys just can go and go and go on without any repercussions. That's so sick. I despise that.
No way there's a human being that's handling our case. It's not possible. Because there is no reason we would keep being declined. They're not even giving us reasons that make any sense at all. Not to us, not to the lawyers, not to anybody. Nobody. And no other esports team has had this problem. Every other org that has international players got in lickety-split.
Yeah. And this is why I say, especially because it's America, he got like a freaking... Karen. And they just said, F you, I don't like the name. And that's it. That's basically it. And it's sad. It's sad, but it is what it is. And you can't do shit against it. That's the problem. If you could actually make them pay for their mistakes, that would be a different thing. But you basically cannot, and of course there are some fringe cases where you can. But this is freaking 99% of the cases that they actually do wrong. Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens.
They're fucking speed ran. Meanwhile, we can't. We literally can't. I'm convinced that if Jesus Christ resurrected right now, U.S. immigration would turn him away. He wouldn't be allowed in here. We'd never see him. Now let me slow down.
But basically, Moist, if you actually played your cards right, with you just went in and said, I am Jesus Christ, give me, they would actually believe you. Because there really aren't that many competent people in there. So I think they would believe you on there, like, instantly. No questions asked.
Quick, because maybe you guys aren't understanding why this is such a big deal. Our team is one of the best in the world. And this major is huge. It's massive. And obviously, we're very passionate about this game and this esport. So they need to get into the country to play in this major, because it's an in-person LAN. They can't compete from Canada. It's happening in America, the home of the fucking cheeseburger and the Budweiser. It's happening here. So they need to be here physically to compete in it. No holograms, no force ghosts, no AI, duplicate, replicants, nothing. It's gotta be them, flesh and blood, which is off the table now. I think a lot of people had a bit of confusion with the last video I made about this, because the Apex boys, our team, has been in America before. We've even made videos together with them at our warehouse.
Yep. And this is... and this is one of the things that I am like... Why? What's the problem then? It's just baffling to me. What's the problem? Honestly, what's the effing problem? Why wouldn't you just give in this shit? They were already in. Why are we like saying that they are some kind of freaks that just came from I don't know where from? No, they're fine. Like they are fine. And I don't. The only way that I see it, how you could, sorry about that, that you can fix it is. And by the way, I don't know shit about the entire law thing and such in America, but I think you just have to let them go and say, yeah, that they go under a different name. Because as I said, I full-heartedly assume that they got really rejected purely, and I mean it, purely, because of your name. And I could be full of shit, but I think I'm right at this one. I think I'm right. I really expected just purely because of this freaking little Stephanie just said no, F you, and that's why they don't get in. I literally cannot imagine a single different thing.
But there's a difference because they were only here for like 2 weeks. I think it was even less than 2 weeks. And then the major was overseas. So they weren't here for a long time. This time around, we needed a different process because they were going to play the whole split in NA. So it needed to go through an entirely different procedure to allow them to stay here for that period. And since we keep getting declined, they are now no longer allowed to just come here temporarily. All of that's halted because they're under our Moist Esports blanket. Now they can't come here just for like that 2 weeks or anything. It's totally different. It's all changed, which is why we had to work with so many lawyers to try and get this process moving, and we just kept getting declined. So now they can't come into the country for this major. They couldn't even show up on the day to compete. Plus, they wouldn't want to do that anyway because they want time to practice, obviously. So that leaves us with only one fucking option left, and that's to cut our team. We have to release one of the best teams in the entire Apex circuit, because that's the only way they're going to be allowed in the country. They can come here as long as they're not being represented by us. As long as they are not represented by any org right now, they can come here and compete. So that's our only option, because we obviously want the best for these guys. We want them to shine at the major. So in order to do that, we have to let them go. It's like that fucking scene in Pokemon when Ash sets down the Pikachu and runs away crying. That's us! That is literally what we have to do with our team right now. We have to cut them so that way they can compete at the major. Because we're out of time. We can't resubmit again because this process is abominably fucking slow. Weeks just to get 2 sentences back from the U.S. immigration dinosaurs, the fucking fossils that are just bones and dust in those chairs at the agency there. Like, we can't do this again because we don't have time. The major is right around the corner. So, we are officially releasing the Moist Apex squad. Unfortunately, we got the bad ending to this fucking playthrough here. And it's no fault of our own, by the way. We did everything by the books. We worked with other orgs, too, and so many different lawyers that specialize in this. And we did everything right. And still got slapped by U.S. immigration raid bosses. Ridiculous. So, I actually cooked up a theory.
Well, yes. Just gonna say this. It is totally effed up and ridiculous.
That a couple of lawyers actually agreed with me on as the most likely culprit for why we kept getting declined and are still currently rejected. Our name. I hypothesized this in the last video I made, but I wasn't entirely subscribing to that belief until now. The name Moist Esports may have had a role in us being rejected. May be the only reason we were rejected. At U.S. immigration, it all falls onto your particular agent. It is entirely their...
Yep. That's what I assume. And Stefi was like, nah fam, you ain't coming in with that name. Yeah, and I believe it instantly. Because yes, most of the, like, yeah, I'm shit talking like all of the people, but no, it is this way, and it's just a very, very sad matter of things. And I wish they could actually bleed for some consequences. If those people just could freaking get actually smacked on their cheeks when they do a mistake, and the bigger the mistake, the bigger that they could actually freaking lose their effed up job for fucking up. And I don't mean something small, like just because you brought the wrong donut, I'm not saying like fire you or something like that. No, I don't mean that. I mean gigantic effing fuck-ups that actually are happening regularly. Oh, okay, sorry.
Your discretion, whether or not you are allowed entry into the country with whatever you're submitting and whatever you're doing. You have an individual agent that handles your case. It is highly possible, and according to some lawyers, not unusual, for them to decline things based on very trivial reasoning. And they never conveyed that the name was an issue to us, by the way. That would be something that's so petty that they probably would never put it in writing because it's fucking embarrassing and shameful. But It is possible that the name Moist is the reason why. Because moist is a word that is a little yucky to people, makes them feel a little icky. So whoever was handling our case maybe just really didn't like that word, didn't take us seriously, and said, nope, we won't be dealing with them. Fuck them. And I think that's the most likely possible explanation for this at the moment. Because there's nothing else. There is actually nothing else that could have possibly gone awry in this process on our end. I hope the ghoulish heathen in charge of our case is proud of themselves for this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just yanking your chain. The only thing I hope for the urinal cake that handled this case is that they get fired. That is the only solace I will find here, is if I learn that at some point whoever took this case is let go from U.S. immigration, because the country would be much better for it. I think they are so bad at their job that it borders on being criminal. Like, they should be charged with treason for how poorly they've handled this case. 6 months. 6 months of work. Well, a little less than 6 months. And never once did they give us a real reason for why we were declined. The reasons they gave us were nonsensical. And when we were in...
Sounds like YouTube, to be honest. May sound cynical, but this sounds like YouTube. And tell me if it's not, but I think this sounds pretty much like YouTube. Damn. I just think Stephanie is freaking everywhere here. That's...
required for more information to rectify those problems. We submitted above and beyond the requirements, and still got declined numerous times. I think this whole experience should be pretty eye-opening to a lot of people out there, to the blatant corruption in US immigration. Like, this is so bad that it's almost comical. Like, if it wasn't so incredibly detrimental to our organization, I would probably find it laughable. Like, that's how awful, horrible it is, and how bad of a state US immigration is in. Like, just take a step back and really analyze this. The best lawyers in the world that specialize in this field in particular were unsuccessful in getting squeaky clean Australian gamers into the country, even when the game they're competing in has the highest level executives saying to US immigration, no, they need to be here, they should be here. All of these extremely powerful parts working together to try and get them into the country, and they couldn't do it multiple times. Now imagine that for someone normal.
Yeah, as I said, mate, just pretend you're Jesus, go to Stefi, say you're my child, please give me this, and it will be fine. Moist Jesus on the critical level.
Just normal, average Joes trying to get into the country, and they have to deal with US immigration. What fucking hope is there? What chance do you have? That's going to be like a 20-year process bare minimum. That's inexcusably awful. What a broken fucking machine. The ice cream machines at McDonald's work better than the US immigration process. It's so fucking stupid. I'm actually hitting a full-blown Porky Pig Scatman right now. I'm getting so heated. Like, it's an insult to the word stupid. Moonfall, Madam Web, The Room, that's stupid. This, it's on a whole new level. It's in a different dimension, the fucking sixth dimension of stupidity. It's a whole new ballgame. Like the fucking poop farter that handled our case. It's giving me a headache. I'm actually going caveman braid. I'm becoming Cro-Magnon man right now. Just called him a fart pooper or whatever. Like, it's just, I'm running out of words in the English language to express the frustration at how incompetent this whole process has been on their end. So yeah, anyway, we had to release our Apex team. They will still be competing at the major, God willing, unless the immigration agent himself turns up and fucking puts the kibosh on it himself. forms like a brick wall of meat and won't let them pass, physically imposing himself on them. But anything shy of that, the boys will be on American soil competing at the major, but they are no longer our team. We had to cut them in order for that to happen. We will, of course, still be cheering for them. We, of course, still want them to win because they deserve it. I think they are the best team in Apex, and I'm still very excited to watch them play, but it really fucking hurts that it's not Moist Esports that they're competing under.
Yeah, and imagine, this guy does so much, he's such a positive effing force in the entire YouTube community, or even, like, as he of course, like, shows himself. Can I read his mind? Of course not. Do I know how he's in private? Of course not. But what he shows is actually quite sympathetic. And I honestly cannot say anything really negative about it, or about him. So, but at the end of the day, damn, they effed him over. They effed him over really hard. And it's just sad. Like, it's really sad. Gonna be honest here. I just despise things like that. And of course, you might say, well, it's not that bad. Yes, it is. A normal human being has exactly zero things they can do against it, and that's just something I despise. If you could, in any kind, just defend yourself, at least have a small chance of defending yourself in this stuff, but you don't. You just don't. And that's the thing that actually makes me, like, honestly, I just hate this. But it is what it is. But I collect as it was. Good night.